Hello everybody, and welcome to another vlog. I haven't done one of these in a while. So yeah, basically one thing I'm gonna say, no, it's a bit darker. It's because my light isn't working. So I've only got my big bright one that I shine in my face. So I've got that one going, but because it's another clamp, I've got to put it over here instead of it directly in front of me. So lighting's a bit off, but never mind. Anyway, I'm gonna get on with what I've got. So, I've been waiting to do this for a little bit, which is the new Doctor Who series. I don't know which series this is. I call it Series 1 because it's Series 1 of the first, no, of the new Doctor, but apparently it's not. It's like Series 12 or something. Anyway, so I'm gonna talk about. Basically, I'm gonna review it, just say what I thought about it. One thing is, overall, not a great series. I think the BBC wanted to go a bit more political with this, and I think that's mostly killed it, at least for me, because I need entertainment, not the news. So, yeah. I will say, so, episode 1 was quite good. It actually gave me a bit of hope to the series. I was like, oh, this isn't too bad, maybe it will be actually quite good. The second episode came along and I was like, not too bad. Then I saw the new TARDIS, and I think they were trying to push in some nostalgia. Like, I will admit, I think they tried putting a bit of nostalgia in there. Like, looking at the new TARDIS, it was like, I could see aspects of the 8th Doctor's TARDIS, with like its overall shape and all of that. There was aspects of the 11th Doctor's TARDIS, the first version, with its like big screen that it has to the side somewhere. It's got the more junk look that the 9th, 10th, and 11th Doctor's TARDISes had, at least the first version of the 11th Doctor's TARDIS. So on and so forth. It was very much like a nostalgia thing that made me kind of like the new TARDIS. Same thing goes with the exterior, which I want to say is a bit like the 3rd or 4th Doctor's TARDIS. It's not the first one, it's a little bit bigger, I think, than the first Doctor's, but anyway, but that was quite good. Rosa, which was episode 3, no. That episode, at least out of the ones I watched, because I didn't watch the 6th. Wait, what's this phrase in episode 5? I didn't watch fully, and I missed the second to last episode. So out of the ones I saw, Rosa was the worst one. It was very political, and like I was talking to one of my other friends who really enjoys the series, as in Doctor Who, not this series, and he was saying how he was just noticing how he was trying not to make it sound racist, and I can understand why. I obviously know what he's talking about because I'm having the same thoughts about it, and it's hard to word and not make you seem racist. But the episode was really annoying. It just had a lot of political things. I actually found it a bit funny. I actually thought that some of the jokes were quite funny when they were in the motel. Apart from that, one of the things that really bugged me was the villain. And one of the things that really got to me in that episode was the villain. And how he had really no reason, or at least we never really found out the reason why he was racist. I've got to assume people just guess this. People aren't born racist, they are made racist. There is a reason, an event, a location that you grow up around, something that makes you who you are. It's the same with everyone. So why was he racist and determined to remove rights from black people? That just annoyed me, that there was just no explanation for why we never learned his motive. We knew his plan and a little bit of his backstory. We didn't know his motive. And he didn't come back. I thought he was potentially going to come back. He never did, so... Anyway, that episode I really didn't like. Next episode... Next episode was okay. I think if you do have an arachnophobia, it would work much better. I don't like spiders in general, but I'm not an arachnophobic? Arachnophobic? I don't have a fear of spiders. That light is really bright. I don't like it being that close to my face. I prefer it being over there because I'm looking down, but it's got, like, in the corner of my eye and it's a bit annoying. Anyway, hopefully I'll get something to put it up there. Anyway, so yeah, so then there was, but yeah, but apart from that, if you actually, like, if your fear extends onto virtual and CGI versions, then yeah, this episode probably would be absolutely terrifying. Apart from that, it's not really that, but if not, it's not really a scary episode. From what I heard of a review, of an American, he said that he didn't really like the portrayal of, like, the American, I think he was meant to be representing Donald Trump, but the person was a bit annoyed in how they handled it, because it was a bit stereotypical, and yeah, I can see why that annoyed people. Other stuff, that episode, I was pleased that they actually included a scientific fact. What was that? That was weird. Like a scientific fact, which was that, yeah, if a spider or any living thing gets to a certain size that it shouldn't get to, it would collapse in on itself. There's probably a way that you could fix this, like if their muscle became stronger or something like that, I don't know. But yeah, basically they would eventually collapse in on themselves, thus the spider was suffocating because it couldn't actually breathe. Science! Other stuff, I don't know, like, that episode was okay, a bit political still, but it wasn't terrible. I would still say if you're going to... I'm going to give a recommended way to watch the series if you haven't already seen and you want to try Doctor Who. I'm going to give you a recommended order to watch this series, though I do recommend that you go back to the beginning of New Who, which is the new versions, so like the reboot, which is Christopher Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor, there to now. You'll find a lot of good episodes, some bad ones, but good episodes otherwise. Anyway, but yeah, so this episode, it does have, like, some kind of nice stuff, I suppose, like, it has, like, why the characters return, and Graham? I'm still learning their names, so I know Graham and I usually know this name. I love the way it's like I can only know one of the companions' name. I want to say Tenzin. That's from Uncharted, and Tenzin isn't even a woman's name. Yaz. Graham and Yaz. I should write that down somewhere. I don't know the other guy's name. I should have looked this up before I started, but I can't remember. It takes me a while to learn names. But yeah, but it gives, like, a reason. Like, I like with Graham how, you know, he just couldn't be around the house because he had too many memories of his wife, who... This is going to feature spoilers. I should have said that at the beginning, but yeah, but that, like, it mentions a bit about, like, she dies at the end of the first episode, so it's not a huge thing, but yeah, but it affects him throughout the series, and it shows up in a few episodes, but otherwise it's pretty episodic, and yeah, and that was a nice little detail. I kind of liked it, just how he couldn't stay around the house, so he needed to get out. But yeah. What was the next episode? The next episode was the Indian one, which I didn't watch a whole lot of. I only really watched the beginning. So I found out about, like, the watch thing where you could, like, the TARDIS apparently can lock on to, like, an object and just follow wherever that went through all of time and space. So, sure. And yeah, that comes up later on, but that's all I really gathered from that episode, and I kind of lost interest quite quickly. I was doing homework at the same time, but I just kind of lost interest and didn't really watch that one. It didn't hook me, and that was one of the problems with this series, is that it just didn't hook me in the first few minutes. Though, later on, after this episode, Kablam, that I think was the turning point for the series. Kablam was a relatively good episode. Not amazing, like, a little bit below average for a normal Doctor Who episode. So, It's okay. It's not brilliant, but it works. It's a bit creepy. It's got a bit of a mystery. Well, it's got more of a mystery than it's creepy, but it is a bit creepy. And it's interesting. You know, you want to know who sent this message. You know, is the system rebelling against the creators? You know, so on and so forth. And I think that was quite a good episode. Also, Lee Mack was in there, and I like Lee Mack. He wasn't in for very long, which is a bit of a shame. I did like him. For what was the next one? The next one was the Witch one. I actually missed this, and then saw a review of it and went back and watched it. Good. If you were a kid, it would probably be quite creepy, but as a teenager, I just didn't really find it that scary. It was an okay episode. It was entertaining. It was kind of funny at times with the historical figures, and yeah, and it was just quite good. Once again, not amazing, but it was entertaining, and that's kind of what Doctor Who's meant to be. Then there was... I missed the next episode. That was also something that kind of annoyed me. So I can't really say a whole lot for that. But considering how the next episode, which was the final episode, was relatively good, I'm going to say that episode was quite good. I know I'm completely predicting that, but after Kablam, it was just going on an upwards thing. So I'm going to guess that episode was at least good. And I can't even see anywhere where they add anything political in that when I saw the next time, so I'm gonna hope. It's not a proper review because I haven't watched everything, but and then the final episode. In my mind, out of this entire series, it is the best episode. It brings back Bluetooth Man from the first one. I don't know what his actual name is, so I call him Bluetooth Man. Because he's blue when he puts teeth in his face, Bluetooth. Anyway, it brings back him, and it was a pretty good episode. It wasn't so much scary, but it had a very... I actually kind of cared about the characters in this. It brought back some of the stuff. It was actually quite exciting. It actually felt like there was a bit more of a threat now, unlike the other episodes where it had been more of a... Because it was like this thing where it actually looked like he was starting to win. It was kind of like, ooh, how are they going to win? Because they're obviously going to win the day. Save the day, not win the day. But I was actually kind of interested to see what happens. It brought back a few things. Like I think they mentioned that David Tennant episode when Daleks brought all the planets together. And I think the Doctor mentions how she's like the TARDIS has pulled the planets back into orbit, which I think was mentioned in that. They also mentioned the Watch, and I believe they mentioned one other thing. Turned a Slitheen back into an egg. Which, when I heard that, I was trying to think which episode that was, because they've encountered this Slitheen a couple of times. So, I think they have, I just can't think of exactly which episode. Probably the 9th Doctor. Maybe the 10th. I think the 10th encountered them once or twice. Yeah. Then, but yeah, that episode was quite good. One thing I will say is one of the characters, you see him at the beginning, is the man out of the two... during the little intro section before the intro credit thing. That guy at one point looks like he dies, but he doesn't. I think originally they wrote it in that he was going to die and then changed it because it did look like he had died. And I actually think when I found out that he was alive, I was kind of like, oh. Because I thought they were actually going to kill him off, and I thought that actually had a bit more of an impact. And it would have been interesting to see some of the characters' reactions to that. But that's really my only criticism with that episode, was that it should have killed him, I think. I think that would have a bit of an effect. Maybe they wanted to leave it on a high note, as it is the end of the series. But it would have been, I think it would have benefited in some way if they had killed him and, had some sadness over that. For... Obviously, the New Year's one is coming out on New Year's Day, obviously. That's why it's called the New Year's special. But, yeah. I did, so, in the sense of the series, one of the really good things about the series was, I think the characters were really quite good. Whilst Yaz does require now some character development, it's a bit underdeveloped. the main focus was on Graham and his stepson? Step-grandson. Technically his grandson. But anyway, but yeah, and I think it's either his stepson or his step-grandson. I can't remember. But yeah, they had quite a nice dynamic, and I think the plot mostly focused around him. And in that final episode, that was actually quite a good episode. I think that's what brought on the quite good thing was actually Graham's character actually made that episode have quite like a actual like tension, because it's kind of like, no, don't do it. I don't want to spoil it, but it's revenge. Well, it's Bluetooth Man, so revenge basically. But the Doctor's saying like, no, if you kill him, you'll not be allowed to travel with me. And it's like this thing where you're kind of like, no, don't kill him, because you really aren't that kind of character. But yeah, but there was some tension there, and I think I suppose a character arc between them is Graham and his, I'm going to call him his grandson. I can be, he doesn't look old enough. And the other guy, I'm going to say that now. Yeah, so Graham and the other guy, and their relationship, how they kind of bond. I think that's mostly like what I think this series focuses on, and actually is probably one of the good things about it. It actually is an interesting character line, and yeah, as I said, Yaz does require a bit of development. Originally, I thought she was actually going to be the other guy's like girlfriend by the end of the series, but nothing has really been hinted to that. I still kind of hope so. I just feel like that at the moment she's not had a whole lot of development. Just because they did an episode on her backstory does not mean that they've developed her. But BBC, not Bethesda. I don't know why I said that, or nearly said that. But yeah, so characters were quite good. I actually really like the new Doctor. She's not my favourite, but I do enjoy her. She's got that energy that I quite liked in Matt Smith and David Tennant. The kind of positivity, especially from Matt Smith. I would say that I think at the moment they're lacking a little bit on the emotional side. I was kind of sitting there waiting almost for... I love the way I almost anticipated that wasn't going to be one, but I really wanted there to be like a big dramatic speech that kind of the Doctor usually gives one at some point or another, where they have like a really, or at least a really emotional moment. I'm trying to think of, like I still remember like David Tennant's "It's Not Fair" speech thing before he regenerated. I did say David Tennant right. Matt Smith. Whilst I can't think of a speech from the top of my head, I can think when he lost Amy and Rory. That was quite a big scene for him. And Peter Capaldi, probably that speech he gave to the Zygons and the humans about killing each other and how he feels about wiping out his own race. Those were all like big moments, big emotional moments that really showed the skill of the actors and showed the dynamic stuff of the Doctor. So far that hasn't happened for the new Doctor, so I hope they do one. It's hard to obviously say when they could do one. I almost hope that they do something like that. Like, I almost want them to go back to something with like Christopher Eccleston and like his reaction to like when the Daleks. Whilst I haven't heard anything, I'm pretty sure it's the Daleks coming up in the New Year's. I think someone said that it's been confirmed, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything myself. So, yeah, probably. Like, it's almost undeniable. Like, the most evil creatures in the species in the universe. It's just the Daleks. Also, BBC, this is like a very small nitpick. Work on your next times. Like that, the reason I didn't watch that episode that I mentioned, the cabin one, was literally because I wasn't interested. Because the thing had like one line of dialogue, a few shots, and then that was it. It didn't really tell you anything about the mystery. It didn't really hint to any form of story. So work on that. Because I remember when the New Year's thing came along. I can't remember the New Year's, but it was like, oh yeah, we will protect Earth this year and every other year that exists, and then that was it. It was like, so what was the plot? What's happening? And then like immediately after followed a trailer for the New Year's one, which actually gave more details. I was like, technically their trailers actually do a better job than the next times. So, and they follow directly after the episode, so it's just like, just work on that. It's a tiny thing, but it's important to hook the audience to want to see the next episode. That's just what I'm saying. Not a whole lot else, I suppose I could say. I was going to say the ordering list. If you want to come into Doctor Who with this new series, so watch episode 1 and 2. Skip episode 3 and go on to episode 4. Then, because whilst it's not a good episode as such, as I said, you kind of need it to know why the characters continue on with the Doctor. Skip episode... I'm not trying to remember which episode I'm on. 1, 2, 3. Skip episode 5, or maybe watch like the first 5 minutes till they travel back in time to India. Somebody's just shown up, so he's going to walk past this door, and you're going to be able to hear him, so you can probably hear him now. It's a bit loud, but anyway. The joys of not being able to control the bedroom studio thing that doesn't work because lights and stuff. But yeah, then from episode 5, 4, no, shoot. Anyway, from that episode, then go to Kablam, and basically just watch them in order from there. Because the episodes will get better, and whilst it's not perfect, and I would say go back to Eccleston, or yeah, go back to Eccleston, because it's one series. It's a good series at that. Introduces Doctor Who, the concept of it, regeneration. Introduce you to everything that you need to know about Doctor Who in one series, and everyone's going to be talking now. Yep, the joys of not having a soundproof room. So I'm going to end the episode here because that's pretty much everything. So, thanks for watching and see you all later.